Hey, Scott, with the men's mental load, men's mental load, man's mental load, male mental load. Professor Scott Galloway. Hey, Scott, nice to meet you. My name's Scott, too. Professor Galloway has been all over the media, and man, they're eating it up. MSNBC, NBC, he's a podcaster, he's a professor. This guy knows everything. Everything. I mean, he's like that Tyson, what's his name? The astrology guy, Tyson Gravis, whatever, that guy. And he's Gary Vaynerchuk, and he's Grant Cardone, and he's Jesus all in one, I guess. I mean, this guy just knows everything about everything. Professor Scott Galloway, professor. So why am I all wound up about him? Just like I was wound up about a female online person, about her lineman husband, the mental load, which prompted me to do the man's mental load. But Professor Galloway got me wound up, and I'm paraphrasing. So I'm going to say what kind of I remember. But he's on the Today Show talking about young men, staying in their basements, playing video games, not out there asking girls to date. And I think he is right when he says that men my age are partially responsible for this. Because, I mean, I've been married 41 years to the same woman, 2 grown kids. I have a son who's like 36, 37 years old. Very close, talk frequently. He's married, got a little child, a little grandbaby. But Professor Galloway, podcaster, professor, knower of everything, says that young men are in their basements, living with their parents and playing video games, or not having relationships with women. And he says that men need relationships more than women. He also said that after the man dies, the lady continues to live happily years after the husband's died. Well, especially if he had a life insurance policy to provide for the woman, and if he worked his whole life in the house and got everything all lined up. Now that's, I don't know if that's the majority, because most men keep all the finances to themselves. And then when the woman, when he dies, she's got to unravel all the finances and figure out about the bills and what to do. And she's has been in the dark all those years. But what I'm trying to say about Professor Galloway, he's not as snooty as that Jordan Peterson guy. And God bless Jordan Peterson. I understand he's got some health issues. God bless you, man. I hope everything works out. I guess he was in a musty attic and got sick. That's what his daughter said. But about Professor Galloway, his nose isn't up in the air like Jordan Peterson is. But Professor Galloway is supposedly the subject matter expert on young men. But Professor Galloway needs to watch a couple episodes of Fresh and Fit. He needs to watch a couple episodes of the Whatever podcast and seeing the young ladies who are out there. Now, you know this just like I do, if you listen to the Better Bachelor podcast. Young ladies, and listen, my daughter read this same book about settling, and girls learned not to settle. Let's go back in time a little bit. Back in my day, I didn't live in a rural town. I lived in a relatively big town, but you only knew the people you knew in your community, the kids you went to high school with, or the kids you went to church with. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have dating apps. We didn't have OnlyFans. We didn't have all these other things. And so the local girl, she didn't even have to be the cheerleader. If the local girl at the school, met a boy, they probably got married and had their family and lived in the local town, and the boy worked at the girl's dad's hardware store and the girl worked somewhere or stayed home. But it's not that way nowadays. We have all these dating apps. And Myron Gaines of Fresh and Fit talks about this calculator where women use it quite a bit, and they plug in what they want. They want 6 foot tall, minimum, 800 credit score, minimum, established, has a business or whatever, no kids, and they have this checklist of what guy they want. And Professor Scott Galloway, why don't you talk about that? Why don't you talk about the young ladies who have their checklist and these young men that you're talking about in the basement of their parents' home who don't have relationships? How can you go to a bar or a church or whatever and you go up to Caitlin and you go up to Amber, hey, Amber, hey, I'm Bill. And he's not 6 foot tall. She can tell he doesn't have an 800 credit score because maybe she saw the car he came in or the guys he rode with. So these girls are going, no, no, and they're going for the 0.1%. And not only are they going for the 0.1%, they're going for the bad boys. They're going for the NFL players, the NBA players. They're going for the DJs. They're going for the guys that give them a little bit of a spark. But the guys, they're at a huge disadvantage. You tell me who it's easier for, a man or a woman to have SE. It's much easier for a woman. I mean, I've seen some of these women on the Whatever podcast and also on Fresh and Fit that are grossly overweight. They are not pretty, making $10,000, $20,000 a week on OnlyFans. I mean, it's just, so Professor Galloway, listen, man, I've never had a beer with you. I've never talked to you. I don't know who you are. I mean, I don't know where you came from, man. I don't know if you've been around a while or you just popped up on the scene. But Professor Galloway, this is what I'm going to ask you to do. Watch an hour of Fresh and Fit. Watch an hour of The Better Bachelor. Watch an hour of Whatever podcast, Fresh and Fit, Myron Gaines. Watch each of those for an hour and then come back and go on the Today Show. Go on the Today Show and talk about women maybe not having their biological father in the home, seeing their mother on EBT, seeing their mother struggling, seeing their mother cooked and clean and this. And maybe that's why that mother is like this female online influencer with over 100 million views up in Boston who's married to a lineman. Professor Galloway, I think you're really doing a disservice when you're out there on the Today Show talking about men staying in the basement. Why don't you ask why? You did ask why. You said because there aren't men like us helping young men grow up. Well, that's part of it. But the bigger part of it, Professor Scott Galloway, is because women have their checklist now. 6 foot, 800 credit score, established, don't have kids, nice car, nice smile, rugged jaw, don't have hair that's falling out. Talk to the women, Professor Galloway, and then go back on the Today Show. Scott with the Man's Mental Load.